What, no monologue?
No, I had a monologue,
Oh.
but you interrupted it.
Should we start over?
No, we're not going to start over. We've already started. I need to give the monologue.
All right.
And then here you come in, interrupting the monologue. Is this how you get off? You interrupting people's monologues? I come in I try to give people a good show, give them a good speech. I got some fantastic improv and ad lib over here or something, and you come along like, you got a monologue? And now no one gets a monologue. I hope you're happy with yourself. I hope you're happy. You see what you've done? You have deprived not only yourself, but the audience of a glorious monologue.
You're right.
And you have no one to blame but yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
You should be sorry. It's your fault.
Well, I don't know where to go from
here. Why would you do this? You don't know where to go from here. How do you think I feel? You've derailed the first 2 minutes of the episode. Now what am I supposed to do for the next 2 minutes? I don't have anything prepared because it's gone. The moment is dead, and now we have here the first bit of the episode with the running gag. I can't do it now because you ruined it. And now what are we going to fill the time with?
Actual content?
No. When have we ever had actual content?
Oh, here, I have an idea.
Hi, everybody.
I got an idea. Welcome to the Placeholder Podcast. My name is Futterman.
Oh, that's your okay. We're introducing ourselves early today.
That's what I'm saying. If we're not going to do the monologue, we might as well have an actual intro for once.
I'm Mingus, by the way.
There we go. There we go.
What?
I don't know. Now they know who we are.
Excuse me. Yeah.
And they probably hate us.
I mean, who does anyone start? Is anyone starting on this? Is like what, episode 24? Is anyone starting on this episode?
I wouldn't know. I kind of go under the assumption that any one of our episodes could be someone's first episode. So I always try to make the best impression I can with every episode. You know?
I really hope that our first episode is not someone's first episode.
Well,
really, I hope that none of our first couple of episodes are anyone's first episode.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the Scooby-Doo one. We need to do another Scooby-Doo episode at some point. There's plenty more content to talk about.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of surprising that we haven't actually discussed Scooby-Doo all that much.
Yeah, hey, add that to the list for today. At least the Courage the Cowardly Dog one specifically. Unless we already talked about that one, I don't remember.
I think it came up a few times, but I don't know if we just.
Yeah, we didn't give like a full review.
I know we talked about it at some point. I just don't know if we discussed it at length.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh well, we can always do it again.
Yeah.
So what is on
man,
the?
I'm worried though this year. They haven't announced. They usually announce a new Scooby-Doo movie like every year, but they haven't this year.
Well, I mean,
it's like
going off of their track record, aside from the Courage the Cowardly Dog one, it might be for the better.
I know. Well, okay, yeah. The last several Scooby-Doo movies have just sucked, but also I look forward to watching them every year.
Yeah, it is kind of the tradition. I mean, we've got a lot that we haven't watched, so we've got at least I haven't watched. There's, I've got a backlog that we could work through if they don't release one. Hey, what about Sword and Scoop? Yeah. Was that one okay?
Nah, that one was pretty mediocre too.
Yeah, I think I remember.
I mean, you can tell that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I remember. Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was better than a lot of the other recent ones because that one actually had a coherent plot.
Yeah, no, because that was the one where they started like trying to walk back some of the personality changes they'd done for the trilogy, such as having Velma's attitude be called out and then have it be definitively proven wrong halfway through, and then she agrees with it.
Yeah.
Or at least is willing to agree with it, and then having something explicitly supernatural happen instead of trying to wrap it up and be like, oh, maybe though.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. No, that
unfortunately. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's that one actually did have some funny jokes. At least the one joke with like Shaggy and like the prince guy, I think. The big muscle dude.
You mean the guy playing King Arthur?
Yeah, the guy playing King Arthur. Yeah. Their relationship was really funny to me, but I don't know if it was intentional. Oh, yeah. Specifically the scene where it's like him and like it was like Shaggy and the guy, like they eat a bunch of food together, and then like a few minutes later, like the king or Arthur has like a dramatic flashback of all of the like of how he's bonded with Shaggy, and it's basically just a recap of the last 2 minutes that we've already seen.
Yeah. No, see, it was that exact scene that it's like that was they knew what they were doing. That was on purpose because this was ridiculous.
Because it was hilarious, but it's like I could believe that wasn't intentional. That they were actually just, I could see it going either way.
That they were incompetent.
Yeah, that they were just incompetent. They just thought that actually was character development, and that this was a good time for a flashback. But it's like, I don't know. If it was done intentionally, it was genius.
I mean, it just seems too tongue-in-cheek to not be intentional. But, I guess we're kind of at this point where it's kind of hard to tell if they suck or if they're brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it was funny. Intentional or not, that scene was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess one thing, the problem is it's just the general thing. The problem with Scooby-Doo is that old-time Scooby-Doo is incredibly predictable, but they know that it's like it's the same thing with all filmmaking. They set up expectations, we get expectations, they realize that we have expectations, so they subvert them to play things up a bit. We eventually realize that they subvert our expectations, and then we start figuring out the common setups for subverting our expectations. They realize that we know that they're going to subvert their expectations, and now everybody knows that everyone else is trying to outsmart everyone else, so now we're back to square one, because sometimes the twist is that they don't do the twist. And I'm now at the point where I can't tell if they're setting up for a twist or if they're just going to play it straight, because honestly, either are equally likely. It's like in Scooby-Doo, in the old ones, it's always like it's the only other character in the episode. That's who the villain always is, because it's not really a mystery. But like newer ones, they'll give you obviously the villain character, then they'll give you a different character who's obviously not the villain, and usually they do this by the super evil looking dude and the guy who looks like he's really helpful, and then it's like, oh well, obviously it's the guy who's helpful because that's always the twist, and then it's like, no, actually the guy who was helpful really was helpful, and the guy who's obviously a villain actually was a villain, and it's like, well, gosh dang it, what are the rules anymore? And you can't. We're all stuck. We may as well have no precedence at all because everyone's subverting everything and it's looped back in on itself.
Yeah. Guess it kind of goes back to what you said a couple weeks ago about like, people trying to get one over on the filmmakers. Kind of the same thing there, except now they actually are trying to get one over on us.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get one on over on everyone else.
Yeah. But then of course there's the Courage the Cowardly Dog one, which is just amazing. But it was more of a Courage the Cowardly Dog movie that just featured Scooby-Doo than the other way around. But It was amazing. I loved it.
That's you loved it. I wasn't as thrilled because I have no emotional connection to Courage the Cowardly Dog.
And it's one of my favorite cartoons. So.
Yeah, I tried. Honestly, I don't know why I don't like it, because it's basically I love stuff like that. I like Salad Fingers, and Salad Fingers is basically just Courage but on Adult Swim at 3 a.m.
Yeah, maybe you need to give it another chance, because I mean it's honestly everything you love. It's weird. It's like slightly horror. It's animated. And it's just like,
but there's not a plot though. That's the only problem.
There's not really, and there's really no overarching plot, but still,
there's not really any character development or anything. It's just weird things that happen.
Yeah, but it's still,
which I guess is I guess in a way it's more tolerable in like short film format to have weird surreal stuff that maybe adds up to something but probably doesn't, than it is in half-hour animated series format.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I just expect that out of like internet stuff. And so I give it more leeway than I think I would if it was an actual television show.
I think a lot of it's like the time investment thing. It's like you can get away with a lot more in short form storytelling because, not as long of an investment. So if the conclusion's not satisfying, it's not as big of a loss. You can get away with more.
I mean, I guess you could take Courage the Cowardly Dog movie as the conclusion to the show.
Kind of. I don't know.
It works as well as any. It's the longest Courage adventure. It gives an actual answer to why everything's so weird, and then 2 of the biggest villains get put in jail by the end.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it kind of works as that, but it also, Courage kind of works on, I think you'd call it a negative continuity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where basically it's like, several of the episodes, if this is following the same rules as the episodes, anything that happened in that was probably undone immediately after because, there were episodes, like the last episode that aired of Courage, I think isn't that the one that ended with them turning into puppets and not getting turned back?
Well, yes, but I mean, another episode ends with Eustace melted and being in a glass bowl. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I know a lot of people tried to say that Courage had like a really dark, horrible ending because they got turned into puppets and never turned back, and that's just how the series ends. But it's like, yeah, a lot of other episodes ended that way too. It's just part of the negative continuity. It's not trying to imply that was their ultimate fate.
Well, here's the thing, though. It is their ultimate fate until any more Courage the Cowardly Dog content comes out. And since that's unlikely with the death of... what's her name? Muriel?
Oh, yeah, Muriel?
Yeah, the death of Thea White, her actor. She's dead, and the Courage movie was her last role, the last time she reprised that character.
Yeah, well, I mean, they weren't puppets in that movie, though, so...
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, because even Invader Zim, that also has negative continuity, but it also had an overarching plot. Like, the important details carried over, and the Enter the Florpus movie is basically as conclusive as a even though he explicitly said this is not the finale. If there's nothing else that comes out, it provides enough closure that it may as well be the finale. Because like everything, all the series goals get accomplished. Well, do we need spoilers? Put some spoilers up.
Yeah.
Put the spoiler tag up for the Invader Zim movie.
All right.
So, yeah, by the end of that movie, not only is it the longest adventure, but Dib gets to be unambiguous, gets an unambiguous win. Zim accomplishes his goal of conquering the Earth, even though it only lasted a few days. But his plan is actually successful. Dib then thwarts the plan, gets the support of his family, who reveal that they care about him. Membrane gets involved, and the Urkin Armada gets completely destroyed. So basically, Zim is now the only Urkin. So he's still around doing stuff, but it's not like he's going to be able to accomplish anything anymore. So I mean, it's basically a finale.
Kind of a sad ending for Zim, though.
Yeah, but Zim was always the villain.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those cases where the protagonist isn't the hero.
Yeah, well, no, but Zim, it's not a sad ending for Zim because after his plan fails, he insists that the entire events of the movie was actually just an elaborate scheme to steal a ceramic clown puppy thing from his front yard. And then he doesn't even realize that the Tallists are dead or that they ever hated him, and he just continues on with his business. So he's completely fine.
Oh.
He's basically being completely defanged because there's nothing backing him anymore. Not like there was very much anyways, but
Yeah. Gotcha. All right.
But as far as it goes, it's like it's basically a finale.
Huh. All right. Just spoiler tag him down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm done with Zim.
Nice. All right. So what else we got on the list today? Because we actually have.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had actual topics planned, but then this happened.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, our topics just included talking about silly movies, and that's what we just did. So. I say we're on topic.
Well, I don't know. We had specific movies, and then we ended up completely getting off of that and onto some other things.
Yeah, well, let's bring up the next silly movie for our silly movie marathon.
All right. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Monster Night. It's the most fresh in my memory.
Yeah, talk about Monster Night. That's like your favorite movie ever.
No, it absolutely is not. But I do have a history with this movie, and that's what I wanted to talk about first. Yes. So yeah, this is one of those movies. You know how like when you're a kid, sometimes you see movies that you just kind of vaguely remember? That was this movie for me. My family rented it from a video store one time. That's how long ago it was. We rented it from like a Blockbuster or like a Hollywood Video or something. And it was...
those were a thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just rented it. Looked like an interesting movie. I think it was around Halloween, so it was fitting. Yeah. The movie, I believe it was made by National Lampoon, actually, isn't it? It's like one of their properties.
I think so.
Technically.
It's at the very least, they're somehow affiliated.
Yeah, they're affiliated.
They're on the box.
Yeah, they didn't actually make it. It doesn't have the same production quality as like, the vacation movies or like the Animal House movies. So it definitely wasn't the same studio that made this one. Because this one very much had the feeling of being thrown together on a very small budget. But what I remembered about it was essentially it was just a movie about like, kids and there were monsters. And then the scene I remembered most specifically is that his parents get stuck in a car out in the woods and they get helped by knockoff versions of The Incredibles. And their names were Mr. Incredulous and I can't remember what the Frozone guy was.
It might just be Frostbite.
I think it was Frostbite. Yeah. It was like Mr. Incredulous and Frostbite.
Helped is stretching it.
Helped. Yeah, well, see, that's what I was misremembering. No, they didn't help him. They stole their tires because that was the running gag for the movie. Basically, that was one thing I actually did like about this movie. It was that it did the stereotypical thing of having the parents, getting the parents out of the picture. But then instead of just having them actually be out of the picture, it kept cutting back to them throughout the rest of the movie. So it's like the whole premise. Okay, so yeah, okay. Anyways, I'll get to that. The point is, I remember this movie. We talked about it, maybe even on this podcast at one point. But then Mingus went out and tracked down a copy of it on DVD, and we watched it the last time we hung out in person. So, yeah, it was just as bad as I remembered. Maybe worse. Yeah.
It's probably worse.
Probably worse. Be honest. It was a terrible movie. It was kind of enjoyably bad, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but not always for the right reasons.
Yeah, the plot... let me just put it to you this way. It starts with a scene in a school with an evil schoolmaster who's testing a kid who then fails and then he dies. Then it cuts away from that and doesn't get back to that for at least 20 minutes. And then the kid is a loser and he's the typical I'm a loser in a young adult movie protagonist character. But then the popular kids start hanging out with him even though they hate him. Like there's not really any... They hate him in one scene, and then the very next scene, they're like hanging out at a party or something, and then it's Halloween.
Yeah, no,
it's very disjointed.
Yeah, I think what happened was, so yeah, he was the unpopular kid, but then there was like the stereotypical jock, and then the stereotypical hot girl that he had a crush on. And then, yeah, everyone hated him. And then for some reason, the next scene, they're all talking like they're friends and they decide that, hey, let's all go hang out at your house for a Halloween party. Cause I think his family just moved into town and they just happened to move into, it was some historical house that had some kind of significance. It was owned by some, I don't know.
They moved into the local haunted house or something.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Cause it has the scene where they pull up to the driveway. And it's got the 999 on the address plate, and it gets struck by lightning and turned into 666.
Yeah, no, they had it like fell over. They actually did that.
Yeah, and then they pretty immediately blow that it's haunted because like they have the weird thing where the ghost comes out of the fireplace and blows out or drinks one of their drinks.
Right,
and then that never comes back.
Well, no, but like it's. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just saying that never comes back up. There's other monsters in the movie, but they never encounter another ghost.
Oh gosh, you're right. They actually don't. No, it's just straight up the. Actually, I'm having trouble remembering what I think there was vampires in there. At least there was a. Okay, here, bottom line, you know how in horror movies, how they always do the things like where they get to the house and like a door will close, like a salt pepper will move, and it's like, oh, they're building up to the ghost. This movie just straight up has a ghost come out, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh. And then they act like it was just a salt shaker that moved or something, and it's like, oh, that's mistake. But it's like, no, you just showed the ghost.
Yeah, so usually you start slow. You start with something, you start with the ghost doing something, but it can be written off as not being the ghost. And this one, they made it pretty explicit there's already a ghost, but then it, like we said, it never gets paid off. Except I guess at the end they had the weird goblin thing crawl out of the fire, so maybe that was somehow connected to that. Movie?
I don't really know.
I don't know. This is such a hard movie to talk about because it's so disjointed that it's really hard to actually, like... The movie barely has a through line, so it's really hard to find a through line for discussing it.
Yeah. No, it's like, okay. So, I'll do my best. We have kid, we have younger brother, we
sister.
Have girl that the kid has crush on, and then we have jock. Oh wait, is it his sister?
Well, no, he had a little brother, which we will get to that, and he
had the little brother who goes off and does his own thing.
Yeah, which
there's a sister, then there's jock and girl he has a crush on, but that doesn't actually end up happening, I don't think. So that doesn't end up mattering in the end.
And then they kind of hint at it. I don't know.
The parents go up. You know the expression. You know how like in season 2 of 24 they didn't have anything to do with the one actress, so she just spends the whole season trapped by mountain lions. That's basically the parents in this movie. They go off in a car and then they just sit there in the same spot in the woods for the whole movie. Nothing happens to them. It has no bearing on the plot. It's just like every 15 to 20 minutes it cuts back to them and then some stupid thing happens. Like they have Fred Armisen shows up with some with the Three Stooges.
It was like a Three Stooges knockoff thing. I don't know. See, that was the thing, is it like the
werewolf.
Right,
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
There was a guy in the werewolf costume.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a recurring gag.
It was a bear.
But
it was a bear costume. I just thought it was a bad werewolf costume.
Right, that's what it was. It was actually okay. Wait, so I remember what happened was well, basically, this is what I was saying though. Is like, this is one thing I like. They almost had something here, because you know how in most of these movies, like, it's always the stereotype that like the kids are having the party, so the parents need to be out of the picture. Like in Donnie Darko, his parents are like out of state or something because they're take his sister to a dance competition, so then he has a Halloween party at his house. Well, in this movie, so it's like they do that, but then they keep cutting back to the parents, and they get stuck in the woods in their car, and while they're waiting for the tow truck to show up, random people keep showing up and like screwing with them. So yeah, I think what it was is first it was a guy in a werewolf costume, but then the next time it was a real bear, but the real bear was very obviously a person in a costume. So it like it didn't really work because he didn't look any more real than like the werewolf that came before. Or am I misremembering that? Was there actually even a werewolf costume guy?
No, I think it was a bear. Right. Like, no, wait, that's right. It was actually a bear. He gets actually attacked by a bear that's clearly a terrible costume.
Right. Okay, so maybe there wasn't even a werewolf at all, but yeah, there was like that guy. There was a couple other people. Dang, what else? And then of course the aforementioned Incredibles scene where Mr. Incredulous and Frostbite show up and steal their tires.
Yeah. With very bootleg Incredibles music, like it's just like a note out of key, and then like they steal the tires while he distracts them. Oh yeah, and then the wife. Powers. Oh, I forgot about the
Austin Powers shows up.
But no, he was called something else.
I don't remember.
He was called something else legally acceptable.
I don't think they ever actually said what his name was, but he was very. No,
they did. They did say his name. It was just a really stupid name.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, that's right. Is Austin Powers the one that like blatantly flirts with the wife in front of the husband, and then she flirts back, and he just kind of doesn't react?
Yeah, he got surprisingly dirty. It's like I could not tell what age group this movie was made for, especially with the little brother. Like when you said he was off doing his own thing, that doesn't
explain that thing.
I don't really want to, but I think we have to.
No, we have to.
Okay, so
explain it.
Basically they all get together at the house for a party.
Yeah.
And they all are in costume, so I think like was it like the main character is dressed as like a Spider-Man knockoff, basically. The jock shows up as a football player. His sister's dressed as a cat. I think the popular girl is just not even in costume.
I think so.
Yeah, but then his little brother dresses as Hugh Hefner.
Yeah,
straight up Hugh Hefner. He's got his hair slicked back like Hugh Hefner, and he wears like the iconic red robe, and he even talks like in a weird voice, which I think is supposed to be like a Hugh Hefner impression. But then it gets worse. At this party, which is supposed to be like a high school party, there's like two girls who are like obviously in their 20s, that just show up in like a sexy maid and a sexy nurse outfit, right?
Something like, basically, yeah. They're part of the parties, and then they're hanging out in his room while they play poker, not just poker.
Yeah, they play strip poker with a 9-year-old, if he's even that old. He's probably more like 6.
And then they get like whisked away by the friggin' ghost brick or something. But then they show up later and they're totally fine. And the girls are now in bikinis.
Yeah, they've stripped down to bikinis, and at the end of the night they like leave the house in their underwear.
Yeah, and the boy's got their clothes and like a pile of money under his pillow.
Yeah, because he won a ton of money in poker, and it made me feel dirty to watch. It was disgusting.
That's right. I remember the other part of this movie that was so freaking confusing because there's like a prophecy or whatever about they have to stop something, but then like they go into the movie and like the teacher. Oh, that's right. Remember the site that there's the one teacher who's like explicitly magic before the magic stuff started happening in like the chemistry room. Then they go like into the city and they keep meeting like all of these supernatural people, but they're just the teachers. So I genuinely couldn't tell if this is like, are we doing like a Wonderland or like a dream sequence thing where like all the people are the people in the real world? It's so hard to tell for most of the movie.
Yeah, no, it definitely was supposed to be real, I think. But yeah, it's like you meet all these weird teachers. So you meet like
her name was Miss Mama Jama, by the way.
Right, Miss Mama Jama.
Her actual name.
And there was like a couple others. But then there was Mr. Mosby. And by that I mean it was Mr. Mosby from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It was that actor playing another character. I think he was like the bus driver, but he shows up later in like
Paul Jacobson. He plays gay pirate uncredited in this movie.
I don't remember a gay pirate.
Neither do I.
Maybe he was just like a background extra at the party.
Sorry, that's right. It's not Fred Armisen. It's Fred Stroller. So Fred Stroller is playing the werewolf. So there is a guy in a werewolf costume. And then the characters also are credited as Poker Babe #1 and Poker Babe #2. And the Austin Powers guy is named Winston Churchill. That's his real name. Right,
that was the joke. That part was like, see, that's the part of the thing is like some of those jokes were actually funny. Like the Austin Powers thing was actually kind of funny, but it just, I cannot comprehend why it was in this movie. It's like the movie, aside from being terrible, just had an absolute identity crisis where it couldn't decide if it wanted to be like a comedy. Like it obviously wanted to be a comedy, but it didn't seem to ever follow through on it. It had all these gags that just either came out of nowhere or went nowhere. Like, I don't remember. There was like the other thing where like his dad was a drill sergeant. Like it was a routine where every morning when he was waking them up for school, he was wearing like combat fatigues and waking everyone up with a megaphone.
No, it was a bugle.
Oh, it was a bugle, right? Well, same thing. Mostly.
Yeah. But... Oh yeah, that's right. And then like the family is supposedly poor, but they live in this giant mansion, and like every day their breakfast is this massive spread.
Yeah, their mom makes like this enormous spread. Like she makes like the Eiffel Tower out of waffles. And stuff like that. It's just it was obviously like recurring gags, but they just end up like seeming very out of place because
the whole movie seems out of place.
Yeah, and then at the end they beat the enemy because like remember there was like that recurring thing too where the sister would pull things out of her purse that they needed at any moment, and at the end of the movie she pulls out a freaking pipe bomb and they use it to destroy the use it to beat the evil teacher. And it's like she apparently had a pipe bomb in her purse for the entire movie.
That was when the movie that was the movie at that point had just completely given up.
Okay, it just went completely off the rails.
The evil dean, he's like an immortal pharaoh man or something, and he has to be immortal by absorbing the soul of the seventh son or something.
Oh right,
and that's the kid. But then like they fight him, and then there's the one lady, one of the teachers. She turns out to be an evil vampire with bad CGI. And then
I remember
they kill her somehow, and there's a mummy in there somewhere.
No, it was
I really don't remember what happens after.
Sorry,
I just vague memories of the first, the whole entire second half of the movie.
Yeah, but okay, I do remember there was something else though. Like the main character was significant because the teacher was trying to be immortal, and to become immortal, he had to absorb the soul from or the power or something. Remember it was the Zodiac thing. There were the 12 Zodiac signs, but then there was the 13th Zodiac sign. Right. Remember the main character was born on February 29th on a leap year. And so that technically, I guess in the logic of this movie means that he was born under the 13th Zodiac sign, even though that's not actually how that would work.
Yeah.
People born February 29th would still just follow in the same Zodiac as everyone else born in end of February. But what was the 13th Zodiac sign?
It was someone that it's like Ophiuchus.
Oh, here we go. I'm looking at Ophiuchus. How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, something like that.
Ophiuchus.
That one.
I'm trying to figure out. I think that's right. Ophiuchus. That doesn't sound like how it's supposed to be pronounced.
I don't know who gives a crap. This movie didn't give a crap. Why should we?
But yeah, so that's why he was significant, why the teacher needed to absorb him.
Oh yeah, there's also a scene where they slide through a sewer pipe, but it's like horrible. It's just CGI. Very blatant CGI.
Or green screen, but yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
And then there was a scene where they do the Monster Mash because that song's old enough that it's public domain.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, was it in the cemetery where all the zombies come back to life for some reason?
Yeah, they're in the cemetery. The zombies come back to life for some reason, and their solution is to play music, and then they all
Right. Yeah.
start dancing. I thought they were going to do a Thriller,
They
but
play like
instead,
Monster Mash or something, and then they're like, "Oh, a dance party."
yeah, they were setting it up to do a Thriller, but instead they do the Monster Mash. But it was like some weird remix version of the Monster Mash.
Yeah. No, that's the music video.
Right? Yeah, it just straight up turns into a music video for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Because for some reason those movies have music videos with it. Like it's always like a separate feature on the DVD, but it's also just something that happens in the movie at some point.
I don't know.
Totally makes sense.
Well, we're at the half-hour mark, and I think that's about all I have to say about Monster Night. What about you?
I'm trying to remember, how does it actually end? They
Uh,
kill the teacher. They go on top of a space elevator or something to a balcony,
oh
an
yeah,
ethereal balcony.
because for some reason
And
the climax had to take place there. I'm guessing they just had the set and needed to use it, so they forced it in.
there was a whole like they had to like get all these clues or whatever something, and I completely don't remember any of the things that they did in like the whole middle part of the movie.
Right, they were given like a map or something, and the clue they were told was like follow the stars, and so then it ended up like they kept trying to figure. That's what it was. Is it was like that they kept changing their mind about what follow the stars meant. Like at first they thought it meant like follow the stars on Hollywood Boulevard, and then they're like, no, it means follow the stars in the sky, and then in the end it turns out you need to go to this observatory because that's where the elevator was that takes you to the space thing. But the funny thing was, it's like, so they kept like piecing it together and figuring out what follow the stars actually means. But every clue they followed, like every time they followed that clue incorrectly, it still led them where they needed to be. So like in the logic of this movie, they were supposed to interpret that like 3 different ways, and each way they interpreted it ended up advancing the plot. So it's like, they're like, no, we were wrong. That's not what it means. Except like, apparently you obviously weren't wrong because it led you where you needed to go. Right?
Yeah, it's like yeah, it changed, but like it's like in friggin' Curse of the Shadows. Hey, do we care about spoiling this one, or
well, I
can
feel
we
like
just not?
Well, I mean, we're doing our full episode of that at some point, so maybe we should just save the spoilers. Because yeah, no, I know where you're going with this, but I feel like we should save that for the actual episode.
That friggin'
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I guess as a teaser, yeah, with they made a reboot of Are You Afraid of the Dark? We watched they did 2 seasons. We watched the first season on like Halloween last year, I think, and it was surprisingly
year before that.
Year before that. It was surprisingly really good. Like the remake was just like it's like a 4-part miniseries or 3-part, 4-part.
It was 3 episodes.
Right, it was 3 episodes.
It was 3 long episodes.
It was basically just one movie. Is essentially what it was.
And it was incredibly good.
It was surprisingly really good. And so when we saw, then like I bought the second season and we watched it the next time we hung out after that, and it was a steaming pile of garbage. And we will definitely be talking about probably both seasons in detail sometime in the near future.
Yeah, but I'm really worried because it's bad, so I don't have a lot of that in my memory again, which means that we'll have to watch it again. And I just remember that it takes an eternity to watch it.
Yeah, because the second season's like twice as long as the first one. And it has half the content.
Yeah, they really did spread out the plot. They did not have enough plot to fill 6 44-minute episodes. Like they just straight up like they conclude the plot like halfway through, and then it just kind of keeps going, and then it ends eventually, and then you're grateful.
Oh, yeah, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, then
it is a terrible movie, a terrible miniseries, and it's so disappointing because it's like the first season was just so good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was I don't know.
Like I just don't know how we went from like just how. How did we go from what we got in that first season to what we got in the friggin' second season?
I don't know. We will watch it again. We'll take detailed notes and we will figure out exactly what went wrong. All right. Well, we're at 35-minute mark. You got anything else about Monster Night? Final thoughts. It's a bad movie, but
my final thoughts are it's a bad movie, but at least it's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's bad, but it's like hilariously bad. But but it's very hard to find a copy of this.
Oh, it's not that hard. I just went on eBay.
Yeah, but I don't know that there were that many available. I don't know. Either way, it's a terrible movie. Don't go out of your way to watch it.
There's no Wikipedia page on this movie.
Yeah.
No, do go out of your way to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
no Wikipedia page.
Don't spend a lot of money to see it, but if you do come across this movie, just check it out just for the sheer absurdity of it, because it will probably make you laugh for one reason or another. But yeah, terrible movie.
For one reason or another.
Yeah, you'll probably cry and you may throw up a little bit because of the yeah, they made it. I can't believe they actually made a real child play that part, and that the child actually played the part surprisingly well.
Yeah, honestly, it's you're watching this kid and it's like, okay, I know that like he's a scripted actor, but I'm just thinking about from the perspective of this child, why do you know how to talk like this?
And also it's they probably ruined that kid. They probably broke him. He probably never grew up right.
That boy ain't right.
All right, should we take an ad break?
Bobby.
All right.
Boy.
I'm going to take that as a yes. All right. Ad break.
God dang it. Now you see here, I work for a living. I sell propane and propane accessories. Oh, boy, I love this look of a customer. I don't remember this at all. I'm going to have to just stop.
I thought you were going to
I don't have this one on the top of my head.
Yeah. All right. Well, we brought up my childhood trauma. Now, what have you got?
Well, I don't know. It's not exactly trauma.
Oh, I think it was.
I mean, we've seen all these, huh?
I think it was.
You know what? Fine. I'll talk about my trauma. As a boy, I was bullied a lot. You see, they would throw me into tables, and they would also threaten to snap my neck repeatedly.
Wasn't that just one person, though? Specifically?
Yes. That was one guy. What a fun time childhood was.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that guy now.
I don't know, and I don't want to find out because I don't care. As long as I don't have to be near him anymore, it's like fine by me. That guy was a nightmare.
Yeah, I didn't really ever interact with him. I don't think I was ever in the same class.
I didn't interact with him. He came to me.
All right. Well, what's next on our...
You think I sought him out?
No, probably not. Oh, well. Should we get on to the next list or next movie on our list or whatever's on our list?
You know, I suppose we should.
All right.
I suppose we should.
What's next?
Allow me to. Well, I'll tell you. Coming to us live today, not live because this will not be, it gets uploaded later, but the Fitness Gram Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. No, wait, no. It goes... A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Dong.
Do you just have the script for that on standby?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, what
Well,
movie?
are you surprised?
Okay, which one are we talking about next?
Well, let's see. If we're going by most recent, let's go to Human Monster next. Here, yeah, I'll leave it up to you. You want to talk about Mostly Ghostly or Human Monster?
Well, Mostly Ghostly, I don't remember very well at all, just because it's entirely forgettable. Human Monster, I don't remember very well because for the first half of the movie, I couldn't understand anything anyone was saying, and for the second half, I fell asleep.
But I was translating for you the whole movie.
Yeah, but I fell asleep though. But yeah, for some reason, I just could not, like, we literally had to turn the volume on my TV up all the way, and then I still could not make out anything they were saying. Because it was like an old, like, 1930s movie. Yeah. Right? 30s, 40s?
1939, I believe.
Dang. Yeah, which it was a surprisingly solid movie for the era, you know, like...
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not. It was not. It's like, yes, it's badly made because it's only badly made because it was made in 1939 and not because the people didn't know what they were doing.
I'm sure it was fine for its time.
Yeah, no, if we're taking this as a movie that was made in 1939, it is not in any way a bad movie. It's actually, I mean, it has a couple. The twist is legitimately surprising. I think honestly, the two worst things about this movie. So I'll give you the plot. Hold on. It's like this. The two worst things about this movie is that it has the English, not the English, the American name is different from the UK name.
And the American name
and
is terrible.
The UK name is, well, yeah, the UK name is actually matters. So the UK in the hold on. I need to reboot. My brain is short circuiting. Okay, so the movie is called The Human Monster. And so you think, okay, this is going to be one of those typical like B horror movies with like a really a badly designed monster and like at first there's a guy, there's a life insurance guy who works as like an optometrist also, played by Bela Lugosi, which I guess should have tipped us off because he always plays the villain. He just has one of those faces. But they keep finding bodies in Scotland Yard in the Thames River. And so they like, he's the beneficiary, so they're of course investigating him. And then like partway through, it's got like this one character who seems like really innocent, and then there's like this like tall, deformed Frankenstein monster-esque creature guy, and you think, oh, okay, so the twist is gonna be that like that they're gonna blame that guy for the murders, but then he's gonna be totally fine, and like the optometrist will be the villain because it's the human monster. And like the real, but no, it's not. That guy is just this. He's a deaf. I think he's deaf or no, he's blind. There's a home for the blind.
Right.
But no, it ends up being that he's just like the manservant or whatever, and he's not even the villain at all. And then it just straight up is the insurance agent guy. So they're investigating him, and one of the men has a daughter. One of the guys who got killed, and their bodies wash up in the river. He's basically running a big insurance racket where he gets people killed and then collects on their incredibly lucrative insurance plans.
Right.
So she's working at the home of the as a seeing eye secretary to the blind priest who runs a shelter for blind people. So they start becoming more suspicious, and then she finds the cufflinks in the blind person's, in the cufflinks of her father in the blind person's home, and then you find out that he's the bad guy, and then in an actual twist that I did not see coming, it reveals that the doctor, who at this point had gone into hiding, like that he had been the blind priest all along, and that was him in disguise. And then there's a showdown, and then he falls into the river that he used to kill people. He threw him off of the tall building, and then he fell down, and it was because the Frankenstein, the deformed guy, he was friends with a blind mute guy who the doctor killed, or no, he mutilated him to get rid of his so he couldn't speak, and he got pissed off, so he like threw him out the building, and so he dies, and then the inspector comes in, who's been following them, ends up saving them. And he sinks into the incredibly dense, muddy river at the bottom.
Yeah,
and that's the plot of the movie.
And I want to say it's the Thames River. You called it the Thames.
Yeah, Thames, Thames River.
It's the Thames.
Thames.
It's pronounced Thames, and I just wanted to correct you.
There's clearly an H.
Yeah, I know, but it's also British.
Well,
I don't know if that's significant.
They're wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced the Thames.
You don't get to just change the English language.
All right, here, you know what?
Darn.
River Thames.
Hold on, I dropped my tiny Lego Lightning, and now I have to find it.
Oh, here we go. It's the Thames, actually.
What?
It's pronounced Thames. Yep.
Who decided that?
I don't know.
No, I refuse. Who? Are you sure?
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. If you trust Wikipedia,
Thames sounds like it could be right. Like it's just a silent H. But you're telling me it's Thames?
I guess. Well, Edinburgh. How do you look at Edinburgh?
Is it not spelled Edinburgh?
It's yeah, no, it's
Oh, it's spelled Edinburgh.
yeah, Edinburgh.
And I'm supposed to pronounce this Edinburgh.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything to add there. Yeah, the audio on the DVD we were watching was very warbly sounding, so I had a very hard time understanding the words. I kind of got used to it eventually and was able to understand it, but then I fell asleep because I was tired. And yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Is there any way to put like any kind of filter over? Bottom line, can we make me sound like an old-timey, scratchy radio person?
Maybe.
Is that in any way possible to do?
Probably.
Like put some sort of
someone who's smarter than me probably could. I could look into it.
Oh, so we don't know how to do it then.
I'm sure I could figure it out.
I want to do like a radio reel at some point.
Oh, here we go. There's an audio filters option on. Oh yeah, here we go.
The only thing we have to fear is giant man-eating spiders.
Well, here I just turned on. Here's a. I don't know what any of these do, but let's figure it. I'm just gonna mess with some stuff.
Well, wouldn't they only affect you anyways?
No, actually yes,
because of the way that this is being recorded.
Actually, yes, this would. So I don't know what this would be doing.
Okay, so you do one, and I'll see if I can hear it from your side.
Well, you won't hear it. It's in OBS.
Oh, come on.
Here, you know what? Let me put it on yours. Here we go. Let's see. Filters. Here we go. Add filter. I don't know which one it would be is the problem. Maybe a compressor? Let's see what compressor does.
Well, what are the compressor would probably do it.
Yeah, because there's compressor, expander, gain, invert polarity, limiter, noise gate, noise suppression, or VST 2.x plugin.
What?
I don't know.
You've already gone past my knowledge. Which, by the way, I recently learned that apparently, like when people call things sport ball, apparently they're making fun of people who like sports. But I always thought sport ball was supposed to be self-deprecating. Like it was showing how ignorant I was of sports.
I've never heard that term, so I can't really speak for it.
Well, apparently it's used in the context of like when people make fun of people who like this, who get really excited about the Super Bowl, and they're like, "Oh, the Super Bowl, the sport ball, you like the sport ball?" And it's like, I thought sport ball was supposed to be like, "Oh yes, I know about sports. I love sport ball." I thought it was supposed to be more of that.
Oh, I mean, I guess it could be either way, couldn't it?
Well, I've never heard it used to make fun of people who like sports.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, honestly, because it's like when I'm describing like my level of knowledge when it comes to sports is basically sport ball. Like that's as much as I know. There's balls, they go into goals, and that's all I got.
Yeah, well, there's a few things in between, but that's the gist of it. Yeah, I can't figure out the filter thing right now. Maybe in a future episode we can do it, but probably not now.
Have you noticed that basically every sport is some variation of take this ball and put it into that hole over there? Like most sports. Most of them.
Not baseball or cricket.
No, cricket, you're hitting a ball through hoops.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I was thinking of croquet.
Yeah.
Cricket is the other one with the bat.
Pegs or the stakes, and you run around them and stuff. And in football, there's no hole. There's either a touchdown or a field goal.
Yeah, but there's a line.
Yeah, but
it's still a variation of get this ball passed into this hole.
Well, it's not a hole.
It's a zone. You take a ball and you get it into a zone.
There you go.
Most sports are take this round object and put it in that zone over there.
Except for cricket and baseball, which is you have to hit the ball so you can get your person into the zone.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not every sport. It's just a lot of sports.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we talk about Mostly Ghostly, or isn't there another movie on that list?
Yeah. I guess we'll go to Mostly Ghostly next because the next one is like we actually like.
Okay, so
actually like that one.
Yeah. I mean, most
So
of it wasn't.
you
I'll start because I know you remember way more.
off.
So yeah, I'll tell you. I'll say everything I remember about these. This are we talking about all three of them?
Did we?
We watched.
I'm starting to wonder. Did we already talk about this on this podcast?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Because I'm really starting to think that we already talked about this.
I don't think we talked about it in detail. We talked about it off mic before we started recording. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Oh no, I like.
Well, I don't know. We're talking about it again.
I'm really not sure. I think we might have already discussed this.
I can't think of which episode it would have been.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Oh, well, I'll start because if we have talked about it, we can do it again because I don't remember it very well. But yeah, I'll start with everything I remember. I think it was a Disney Channel movie, wasn't it? Or was it a straight to DVD thing? Or was it like the first one was Disney
honestly,
Channel?
My first thought is that it's somehow related to Nickelodeon, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
I think it was Disney, wasn't it? Right?
Maybe
not actually.
Let me check.
Mostly ghostly. Oh yeah, Who Let the Ghosts Out? That was the first one, wasn't it?
No, that subtitle only applies sometimes.
Right, yeah. No, yeah, so the first one was Mostly Ghostly, Who Let the Ghosts Out. Second one was Mostly Ghostly, Have You Met My Ghoul Friend? Or is that the third one?
No, Ghoul Friend is the second one. Yeah, Ghoul Friend is the second one. And then
what was the third one?
I'm trying to remember. There's only one character, I think, that's played by the same actor across the entire series.
I don't even know.
But literally, I think all of the major characters literally get swapped out by different actors in literally every movie.
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so the third one was One Night in Doom House. They're actually an R.L. Stine property, and they did indeed air on Disney Channel.
Well, honestly, that checks because essentially you've got Max Doyle, your typical 11-year-old dork who doesn't get along with his parents and is kind of unpopular at school, but he's got a crush on a girl that's way out of his league, and they're preparing for the Halloween dance. Meanwhile, an old man ghost comes out of a JPEG of a cat to deliver some spooky words. And he turns out to have a ghost room in the back of the house, and then there's two ghost children. Their parents are gone. They're ghosts now. And they have to. He goes through animals, and he's trying to get into the real world because of Halloween. And they're helping him with his magic tricks because they're ghosts and so they're invisible. And they also just gaslight his mom at one point, and she thinks she's in the wrong house. And then it's like, well, that's going to be awkward later. So they wanted his help to figure out why they're ghosts, and he's like, okay, I'll help you if you help me do good magic. And then they're like, we got to go into the basement. Because the ghost can't see you in the evil ghost room, and then he goes to get the ring that defeats the evil ghost, but then Fears, which is spelled with a P, by the way, a PH, he captures her, and then the girl helps him in the magic show, and then he gets out of the ghost wall, he breaks down the wall, gets out of the ghost one, and then he makes a spell, and then everyone gets sent back into the ghost place, and then everyone's like, wowee, what a great show that was, and then Fears gets away as a cockroach. And then they make a sequel, and it gets worse from here. Actually, no, it gets never mind. It doesn't get worse. It actually gets better. Strangely enough, the third movie's the best one. Yeah.
So what I remember, well, first of all, they do switch every actor. Like, there's the main character boy, and then there's like the girl interest, or the love interest girl, and then there's the two ghost kids. All four of those characters are literally played by different actors in all of the movies, to the point that I think they even get I think their race changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the one of the ghost boy becomes black.
I think you're right.
In the second movie, yeah, because he's just a white guy kid in the first movie, and then in the second movie he's a black kid.
Wait, no, here I found the cast list here. Okay, so yeah, the main boy in the first, Max Doyle, he's played by Ryan Ocho in the first one, or Ochoa, I don't know. He's in a few other Disney Channel properties. Oh, and he was also in some Nickelodeon stuff, I think. Bella Thorne plays the girl, and then the two kids are, I think in the first movie they're both black actually, but then in the second one, I think one of them turns white, but only one of them. right?
But only one of them.
But only one of them.
I don't totally remember.
I don't know, but that's the
I
point.
don't.
Is
The cast changes a lot, and it doesn't really help with the continuity of this series when all the characters look different every time.
Yeah, but so
Hard to keep track of the plot.
But then I don't remember anything about the second one. But yeah, the main thing I remember about the first one is that thing where when Fears could somehow like manifest himself from animals, and by doing that, he would there would be a crappy JPEG of the animal that would split in half, and he would come out of it in a really horrible like stretching effect.
Like the animal would be moving, and then it would become a JPEG. It would split in half, and like a light would shine out of it, and then he would
disappear. It's awful.
He would just like.
I remember absolutely nothing about the second movie, but I remember the third one was the best of them. But I still don't remember much about it.
Okay, so in the second movie, he finally gets a date with the popular girl,
right.
And Fears still wants to take over the world, and then the ghosts are trying to help him. And he also has a soccer. Look, I honestly don't remember much about the second movie either, except for the fact that for some reason the climax of the story is not when they defeat all the evil ghosts, but is in fact his soccer game that he has to do right after that. That's the emotional climax of the story for some reason.
Right? Yeah.
I don't really remember any other thing that happened.
Yeah. Oh wait, and here we go. Actually, I had the cast list wrong. So in the first movie. So actually, the ghost sister, is played by the same actor in at least the first two movies, I think. So I think she was the only one that stuck around for more than one movie. And the main boy is played by someone named.
I knew there was at least one actor.
Yeah, so I guess the sister stuck around briefly.
Yeah, I knew there was at least one actor that was in more than one movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everybody gets switched out sooner or later.
Yeah, and then the only thing I remember about the other thing I remember about the third movie is that it has Danny Trejo in it, but only for a few minutes total. And then like sequel,
like five. He's like the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's like the big bad guy. Like he's the guy that apparently, even though Fears has been very clearly implied to be the big bad guy of this series, in this one, Fears' character is completely changed to where he's a total pushover. And his boss is Mr. Mordo, I think, right?
Is that what it was called?
I just read it I just read it. Like I have the Wikipedia thing open, and I just read it, and I already forgot what his name was. I think it was like Mr. Mordo or something. But
look at on the friggin' Wikipedia page. Oh hey, well okay, this isn't the funny part. This is apparently Joan Rivers' final film role.
That's depressing.
Yeah, she died 2 days after the film's release.
This movie killed Joan Rivers.
Yeah, but no, just this part here. DV Verdict also gave a negative review and questioned its pacing, stating that after the climax in which our heroes confront the ultimate evil, the movie goes on and on with a lengthy soccer game and a big dance sequence like the one from Slumdog Millionaire. The whole time I was wondering, why isn't the movie over already? Yep. That is entirely accurate.
Oh my god! Look at the DVD cover for most of the first Mostly Ghostly. It is very obviously trying to knock off Harry Potter.
Because he got the weird wizarding like pose.
Yeah, he's got the wand out, like the wand, and he's got like I don't know, the hair even a little bit. I don't know.
So okay, here's what happens in the third movie. So Fears, as we mentioned, already like. He just sucks now. He's been the villain for the two movies, and now turns out that he's actually super lame, and Danny Trejo's in charge of him. And then he's like, you gotta defeat them, and he's like, okay. And then the kid, there's a guy who does ghost haunting shows. Wow, I really can't. Hold on, give me a second.
What are you reading? What happened? Well, I don't know where he went. So I guess Star Trek is the next thing on the chopping. I guess it's been on the chopping block for a while now. Yeah, I guess they're doing like the Star Trek Picard series right now, and it's absolutely terrible. I'm not gonna watch.
You got that right.
Oh yeah, you're back. Yeah, I've been watching the Red Letter
Yeah.
Media review of Star Trek Picard, and I get the impression that's how a lot of other people are consuming it too. Is instead of watching the show, they just watch Red Letter Media talk about the show.
Well, yeah, because the show is complete garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how
Like
terrible
Rise
it
of
is.
Skywalker, it completely tramples upon everything that came before it and ruins it.
Well, it's like apparently not only does it like deliberately contradict some of the continuity we've already seen, but it's badly written. It's like it's made by people who obviously don't like Star Trek for people that don't like Star Trek, and it's just. And I think what's worse is that now they're doing the obvious like the thing that everyone does now. I guess they're using it as a platform to make social commentary, but they're not even doing it well. Because it's like old Star Trek made social commentary as well, but they did it creatively. They set it up to where there was some like sci-fi scenario that paralleled something in the real world, and then showed like what a potential solution to the problem would be. So, there would be like, two planets that are, they would show like depict racism. Like I remember there was an episode in the original series where they like, basically there was one planet that was Nazis and there was the other planet that was like, the Jews. And Enterprise had to intervene, essentially. I don't know.
Well, look, it's like Star Trek has always been a message show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, that's always the argument that people use when it's like, oh my gosh, they're becoming so woke. And it's like, well, Star Trek always did messages. And it's like, yeah, but they were, yeah, not only were they well written and actually thought, look, all you need to know is that when they made Picard, the makers of the show explicitly said that it was supposed to be a metaphor for America under Donald Trump and post-Brexit Britain.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. Is like,
that was the first thing they said.
Like the whole point of Star Trek is that it's supposed to be the aspirational future, where it's like it's a utopian future. Like all the conflict you see in that show, almost none of it is between humans. It's usually humans working together to confront some, external threat. Humans in the future are supposed to have like advanced past the point of racism or past the point of war, all this stuff. Picard just flies in the face of that. And what's most infuriating too is it's like, so their way of doing social commentary in the newest season is that they literally have the characters time travel back to like, I want to say it's like 2024. I think is the year they go to.
2024.
Just basically, it's barely the future. And basically their way of doing social commentary is they're showing all these things that are problems today and saying, isn't that bad? And that's it. They're not offering any solutions. They're not giving any clever commentary about it. They're just showing, yep, here's racism. Racism is bad. Yep, here's mental health issues. Mental health issues are bad.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is because they said it in modern day, they're essentially saying, look how much you suck. This is you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. Well, that was a fun little tangent. Let's get back onto Mostly Ghostly.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, you disappeared, so I just had to fill the air for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. I got the third. I had to read the blurb again, and the memories came flooding back.
All right, take it away, Johnny.
So yeah, what?
Never mind.
Did you just reference Family Guy?
I think maybe something that I want to say Red Letter. I think that's something that was in a Mr. Plinkett review. Yeah, no, it's a Mr. Plinkett thing, I think. I don't know. I wasn't really sure what I was quoting. I just said it. Anyway, just carry on.
Yeah, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So he's dating the girl now. The ghosts still want to be like, what happened to our parents? And you find out that you get flashbacks of them. They got sent into the ghost realm because they were trying to stop fears. And there's like a magical jewel thing that'll allow the ghosts to take over the world. So they have to find that, and it's in a house. And the way they find it is they summon this guy who is who like does the haunted ghost show to come to the house, but then he immediately gets possessed by fears. So it's like, unfortunately, whoever's playing fears doesn't actually get to play fears for very long, because then this other guy takes over the role, and then like he's just like really obvious trying to get them to be evil. And then there's like a big science experiment machine thing, and then a lot of other stuff happens. The Doom House doesn't really come in until like way later into the movie, and then there's a big ghost tornado. They kill Fears, and then the parents are all like, "You're not gonna, we can't come back until you defeat the most evil." No, that's right. They're like, "We got to defeat the most evil ghost," and it's like, I don't even know why that's a condition because it was a science experiment, but whatever. So they kill Fears, and like, "Why are my parents back?" And it's like, "Yeah, they said we had to defeat the most evil ghost," and then it shows Danny Trejo laughing evilly, and it's like, "Oh, a sequel," but there wasn't a sequel. Look, despite the fact that I can't remember anything about this movie, like hardly at all, I do know that this is definitely the best one in the trilogy. Like, it made the most sense. It had the best acting. The writing was tighter than usual. It's not good. It's just, it was way better than the other two, and it's really surprising.
I didn't want to claw my eyes out by the end of this one.
Well, like, this one actually has a plot.
Yeah, I feel like we need to watch these movies again at some point, but maybe not.
Mostly goes to the trilogy?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I need to rewatch them so I can truly appreciate whatever the heck they are, but also I'm probably good without it.
Oh, yeah, part of the problem with watching these, because it's like, we can only get together so often, and I have other movies for us to watch.
Yeah, it's like, do we spend our time watching mostly ghostly, or do we watch something that's actually worth our time?
Yeah, at least something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's kind of the problem. That's like, what?
What? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, that's the thing I run into with shows sometimes. It's like, sometimes I really want to rewatch a show, but then other times it's like, can I really justify, because the amount of time I spend watching a show I've already seen is time I could spend watching a show I haven't seen. And there's so many things I haven't seen yet. So it's like, can I really justify it?
I have a hard time getting in the mood to watch any shows lately, so I say watch whatever feels right. It's all about entertainment, so watch whatever will entertain you in that moment. If it's rewatching an old favorite, there's value in that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if you commit to a show, like, that's just what you have now.
I mean, I don't know. If it's a show you've watched enough times, you probably don't need to watch it in its entirety again.
That's not how it works.
Not for you, but for most of us, that's how it works.
It's like, if I want to watch Adventure Time, it's like, that's 280 episodes. That's 283 episodes I now have to watch.
Well, I mean, have to.
So it's like,
way of putting
should I watch Adventure Time, or should I watch something that I haven't seen yet?
Well, it depends on how much you like Adventure Time.
I have plenty of stuff that I haven't seen yet. I mean, I really like Adventure Time.
That's one I still...
You haven't seen it yet.
I've seen a lot of it. I need to watch all of it at some point.
You got to watch it all the way through.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I got a couple seasons through it, and then I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's still available on my streaming thing. Anyways, should we just keep rolling to the next movie?
You can get a complete DVD for like $40.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. And it comes with the bonus episode that unfortunately I don't have on DVD because it wasn't released on the single DVD sets.
What's the bonus episode?
Oh, they got like they got to make a bonus episode where they were like in Minecraft. They did like a Minecraft thing. It was like an extra production order thing. It's not canon.
Hey, here we go. It is still on Hulu, so I can watch it if I want. Wait, wasn't there another one where like it was like a gender swapped version of them? Was that part of Adventure Time?
Oh yeah, no. Yes, but there's actually a really funny twist with that. That makes it good. But I will not spoil it.
I was curious, is it part of the main like episodes? Like if you just watch all the episodes, do those come up, or are they part of like some spin-off series or something?
No, yeah, those are part of they fit in, just not in. I can't say it. I'd have to just outright spoil it, and then that would ruin it.
All right. What was the other thing I was going to say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, should we roll on to the next movie? I guess it's the last movie we had to talk about today.
Yeah, I guess we may as well. Anyway, I talked for a while. You go. Introduce it.
All right. Yeah, so it's another R.L. Stine movie. It's The Haunting Hour. Don't Think About It. Which, at the time it came out, it was the only thing with a Haunting Hour title, aside from the book. Now there's like a series. What was it?
I guess I made that show.
Yeah, that came after the movie. After this movie, though.
Did it?
Yeah, there is a Haunting Hour show, but it didn't come out for a few years after the movie, I don't think. But originally, The Haunting Hour was it's like a short story collection. I want to say it was like a.
It was an anthology. It was young adult anthology books.
Oh right, it was some of his more mature horror.
Yeah, it was basically like slightly scarier than Goosebumps, but it's still R.L. Stine, so that means it's basically not scary at all.
Yeah, he had like a few different tiers of horror. He had like Goosebumps for the little kids, and then he had like Haunting Hour, I guess, for like the young adults, and then he had like Fear Street for the teenagers, and those ones had some actually like more graphic content in them. Still not like Stephen King, but
No, Stephen King. Well, okay. Here's the thing: is it's like I will never be scared by a book. Okay, no matter, even if it's a horror novel, even if it's like really creepy in concept, a book will never scare me because of the fact it's a book. I will imagine it incredibly vividly in my head, but it's still just in my head. It's just words on a page at the end of the day.
I've read a few books that messed with me a little bit. Like I remember House of Leaves had a few parts that kind of got to me. What?
Yep.
House of Leaves. Yeah.
Oh, I just figured House of Leaves was what you were about to say.
Yeah, that book just kind of that book is crazy. It's a really good book, and it was a great experience. I read it in like a week, which says a lot because it's a long book, and I'm a really slow reader. So the fact that I committed enough time to actually just sit down and read it in a week says something. But it's a weird book. I actually tried to reread it recently, and I just couldn't do it. It's a book. It's not a traditional book. Reading that book is like trying to solve a puzzle, basically. It's like the book has like footnotes that you have to read, and then like the footnotes have footnotes in themselves. So you end up like jumping back and forth through pages, but it's really cool. It's like a really cool experience. I definitely recommend reading it, but it's one that it's as much as I'd like to reread it, I could not do it. I got a good chunk of the way into it, but then it just got got a little bit tedious.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like you said, it's that book. It's not, you can't just read it. It's work. So doing it the first time is fun because you haven't read it yet, but after you've read it, now it's just work.
Yeah, exactly.
To get through it again.
Because like I remember the book well enough that it's like I'm not gonna get. I don't know. It's one of those books you definitely. There's entire communities online about dissecting this book because there's a lot to it. But so there definitely is value in rereading it.
These days though.
Yeah, there's
what doesn't have an extensive online community that dissects everything.
Yeah, no, that's true. But this one, like, there really is value in rereading it. I think there's a lot more you can learn about it. But it's a job. Anyways, that was a weird tangent. So yeah, The Haunting Hour. Don't think about it. I mean, I guess it wasn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting what we're talking about.
Oh, that's just the nature of this podcast. But it's a It's like a kids horror movie. Yeah, I think it aired on. Sorry, what was that?
I'm trying to remember what episode we're on.
I believe this is episode 25.
Yeah, cool. We're halfway to 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Stick around for episode 50, where I'll deliver my longest monologue yet.
Oh, goody. So The Haunting Hour, though, it's a movie that aired on Nickelodeon, I believe, around Halloween. I don't remember which year. Early 2000s, late 2000s. Before 2010.
I'm going to guess 2006.
I think that's right. 2006, maybe 2007. I don't know.
2007.
Oh yeah,
that was close.
2007. So yeah, that's when it came out. I actually saw it on TV the night it came out. That was a fun experience.
I saw it on TV too. I just don't remember when.
Yeah, I caught the premiere. It was fun. But yeah, it's a movie about I mean, honestly, the premise is pretty crazy. It's like a well, it's the main character is like a goth girl.
Okay.
Right.
Let's be honest. It has the same premise as every single one of these movies. Quirky kid who doesn't fit in with everyone is now moved to a new school and it doesn't know what they're doing, and then spooky things happen.
I mean, I guess the part that was cool to me was
they all start the same.
It was the concept of it's like she finds some spooky bookstore. She goes in there. It only has. Wait, no, it's like a store that's like.
It's
a scary store. That's the only way I can.
It's one of those haunted stores that you find in an alleyway.
Yeah.
In between two other stores, and then if you go back, the store's not there anymore. It's that kind of store.
Yeah. Well, she goes there and they have a book, and they like literally they only have one book. I remember there's a joke about that. She asks him about books. They go to the books section, and there's like a shelf that's labeled books, and there's one book on the shelf, and she said, "There's only one book," and he said, "I'm having the S removed." And I don't. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
But,
book is
cursed book.
yeah, it's a book called The Evil Thing, I think.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a short poem about, it's like, I don't remember. You could probably find the poem if you wanted. But it's basically talks about there's this evil thing with two heads, one that sucks blood and one that chews meat, and blah, 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 blah. And then the last line was like, the evil thing isn't real unless you think about it. So the whole idea then is after you've read the book, if you...
Yeah, hold on. Here we go. I got it.
Oh, there you go. Go for it.
The evil thing is a gruesome beast. On living flesh it loves to feast. It's a two-headed thing whom you don't wish to greet. One head sucks your blood, one head chews your meat. It carries its babies in slimy eggs on its back. The babies are hungry when they hatch for a snack, so the evil thing traps some poor victim alive for the babies to eat when their birthdays arrive. But don't worry, don't cry, please don't have a fit. The evil thing is not real, unless you think about it.
Yeah.
That poem.
And the evil thing looks like...
Can I just say really quickly, it carries its babies and slimy eggs on its back. Something about that line just doesn't fit. It just feels like it's a different genre all of a sudden.
Yeah, the monster in this movie was much more like a sci-fi monster than it looks like. Like it obviously was inspired by the Xenomorph, specifically the Queen.
Think about it, monster.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture too.
I'll find a picture.
Yeah, it does kind of just look like a big dinosaur.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Like a big alien dinosaur. Pretty good monster design though. They had some pretty good practical
No,
effects for it. I think
it's not an alien dinosaur. It's like a. Wait, which one are you? Does it Are you looking at the lumpy blue thing with lots of teeth?
Yeah, I mean that's not a very good picture of it because it that's a view of it from the front. Because I remember the whole thing was it only had one head, but then it split into two, and I think that picture is its head splitting into two. Yeah,
that is correct. So, yeah, she reads the book because of course she does, and her
bratty little brother. Yeah, I guess he's really he's a normal little kid.
Her brother is really annoying, and she doesn't have friends. Does she find oh yeah, there's the popular boy she likes, Sean.
Right,
because there's always a popular kid that the main character likes.
Yeah, and Sean was like he had two friends that kept harassing her, but he stood up for her.
Yeah. And then the evil thing catches them, and then there's a pizza man. By the way, this movie is a tie-in with Papa John's Pizza.
Right.
Like that's real.
Yeah.
The DVD case comes with a digital coupon code for Papa John's. Unfortunately, it expired years ago, so I was not able to collect on this.
Bummer.
Yeah. And then they all get trapped in the lair because it's like that she finds the evil shopkeeper, and he's like, 2 heads are better than 1. That's the way to get the bloody job done. And then the shop just goes away because he's a cursed shop, and that's what they do. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, I've got it. If we put blood on the head, it'll eat itself. So she grabs all the bowl of blood that's conveniently in her house because her mother was preparing a roast.
Yeah.
So good thing that was there.
I've made roasts. Roasts do not produce that much blood.
Yeah, no, it's just a straight up bowl. They go in there, and then
they squeeze all the blood out of the roast.
Yeah, Max has to. I feel like that would ruin it. Honestly, wouldn't that just destroy the?
I mean, yeah, it would dry it out probably a bit. And I don't know. I mean, in real life, you can't just squeeze the juice out of a roast with your bare hands.
You can't?
Not like they do. Not that easily.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Okay, well, next time we hang out, we'll go buy a roast and we'll put this to the test. But yeah, no, it's because the whole idea was that it had 2 heads, one that sucks the blood and one that chews the meat. So you throw the blood onto the one that chews the meat, and the one that sucks the blood will attack it.
But they look the same, so it's honestly not clear how the blood-sucking head sucks blood.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see anything sucky about it. But yeah, the plan works and they defeat the monster.
There's nothing sucky about it.
But yeah, I guess like the concept to me that was kind of freaky, I guess, was the part where if you think about it, it becomes real. But I mean, they basically don't. That doesn't really do anything. It's like literally she reads the book, her brother tries not to think about it, thinks about it literally 2 seconds later, and what do you know, the monster's real now. So it's like I don't know what, but I feel like they could have done more with that premise.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's exact. It's basically what you were expect. It's like, what else would you have expected from this? You know?
I don't know. It's just like
I feel like we got exactly what I was expecting from this movie, and I can't say I was like disappointed.
No, I mean it was fine. It was a fine movie, but I guess what I could say is like I could see a version of this movie where it's like, there's multiple, like the more people that think about the monster, the more monsters there are, or like the bigger it gets, or something. Something where they really.
So like Slender Man.
Maybe, or like Rocco's Basilisk. Have you ever heard of that?
What?
It's a philosophical thing, I guess. It's basically the idea is that if like it's let me just look up a description of it. I feel like I'm going to butcher this.
Rocco's Basilisk.
Rocco's.
Hello, and welcome to Rocco's Basilisk, the only show where you can eat at Rocco's Pizza.
Here we go. It's a thought experiment proposed in 2010 by the user Rocco on Less Wrong community blog. I don't know what that is. Rocco uses ideas in decision theory to argue that a sufficiently powerful AI agent would have an incentive to torture anyone who imagined the agent. But okay, this description sucks. Essentially, what it is that sometime in the future, if they would people would create something called the Basilisk that's basically like some sort of omnipotent AI, and that this omnipotent creature would have the ability to look back through time and see everyone that's either inhibited or like, what is it? Okay. I am going to need to read someone else's description. This is really hard to put to words.
Why is it a basilisk?
I don't know. Just because because it kills you with its gaze, I guess.
Because it looks through time.
Okay, here we go. The basilisk made its first appearance on the discussion board. Blah blah blah. Where is it? Maybe I could put the. I can't figure this out.
All right, I am not clear.
Okay, here we go. Some background is in order. Okay. The hypothesized future point at which, the lesser known community is concerned with the future of humanity, in particular with the singularity. The hypothesized future, which. All right, never mind. That's not it.
For being honest, I'm not any clearer on what this is.
Okay, here we go.
At all.
Dang, I keep thinking I found the Dang it. Okay, here we go. It's a thought experiment about the potential risks involved in developing artificial intelligence. Its conclusion is that an all-powerful and artificial intelligence from the future might retroactively punish those who did not help bring about its existence, including those who merely knew about the possible development of such a being. So essentially, it's...
So basically, it's an AI that gets mad that not everyone was involved in it, so it goes into time travel and kills them?
Yeah, basically, it's in the future, we would create this thing, this basilisk AI that would have the ability to like look through time and like kill anybody just at will. Basically, it would look back through time, and anyone that didn't actively help it be created by either spreading the word of its existence or like working to develop it, like those are the people that'll be spared. Everyone else will die. So if you've ever heard of the basilisk but did not either like spread the word of the basilisk or help develop him, you would die. Does that make sense?
But what would be the point? I feel like there would be no way to do that wouldn't just result in all of time being erased.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I don't see how that could possibly work out in the basilisk's favor.
I don't
honestly
know.
I feel like if okay, so you're telling me that this creature is going to decide that because it exists now, it is going to get irrationally mad at anyone that didn't help it and kill them all, which would inevitably change time and then lead to a situation that probably results in its own erasure. So what would be the point of that?
Or no, I guess maybe it wouldn't travel through time. Wait, no, I think it would look through time and it would kill anyone that's currently alive. I think.
That just seems so self-defeating.
Well, it kind of is.
How would an AI even look through time anyways? Time travel, I'm quite certain that time travel will never be a thing that is possible because it can't be.
Well, it's
the only time travel that could theoretically work is the kind where going back in time just ends up fulfilling what was already happened anyways. And even that begs into question how, I don't know. Time travel doesn't seem feasibly possible in any sense of the word.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, well, this was another crazy tangent.
I mean, I guess that's the end of the podcast.
Is that really? Do we have anything else to say about the evil thing or
Play the outro.
Whatever it's called?
Play the outro.
Oh, wait. I forgot to open the outro. Okay, here, wait. It's going to take me a second.
Fine. While you do that.
Okay.
So anyways, they kill the thing. The Papa John man is like, you guys get a free pizza from me. And then they have a party. Then they burn the book. But then the book didn't burn all the way. And so the parents find it in the fireplace. And then the dad reads it. And then you hear the guy laughing. And he's like, Happy Halloween. And then she wakes up. And she's like, oh. And it's like, oh, we have to do it again. And then the movie's over. But like they already killed it once. So they could probably do it again. Anyways, that's how the movie ends. It's actually really good. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You can find a DVD for probably, I'm gonna guess. Hold on, what's your guess for the price? I'm gonna guess somewhere around $7.59 on eBay for this movie.
I'm saying even $10.
Haunting Hour DVD. Let's see what we find. The cheapest copy. $275, $3.59.
Wow, we were way off. It's probably available on streaming somewhere.
No. Stop supporting streaming.
Oh,
it's just cable TV, but worse.
You can buy it. You can get a digital copy of it for $4 on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, or Amazon Prime. Or you can get a digital copy on Vudu for $15. I don't know why it's so much more expensive on Vudu.
Or you can spend even less money and get an actual physical DVD that can never be taken away from you.
But then it takes up room on your shelf.
Yeah, and?
I don't have any more room for DVDs.
Well, neither do I, but that hasn't stopped me. I have measured exactly how much space I need for all this.
Yeah, well, I guess...
31.53 feet.
Well,
play the outro.
Roll the outro.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you didn't say the thing.
I don't say the thing. You give the spiel, then I say the
right.
thing. On the outro. How do you keep forgetting this?
I don't know how I don't have this down yet. Okay, I need to turn the music down a bit though.
We're like 25 episodes in.
Words.
Real Placeholder Podcast Official, which Futterman always forgets the official, at gmail.com. It's in the description, guys. Tell us to get real jobs and so forth.
Send us an email. Blah, blah, blah.
That. And, no one knows who we are. There's only 5 people who watch this podcast right now.
Yeah, I think they're all related to us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will continue to be that way because I don't think we're algorithm friendly anyways.
Yeah, we'll figure it out someday in the future.
It doesn't matter. Why do we try?
We'll hire a marketing guy.
It's over for good. Not really.
Bye.